Hey, I'm sick and I want to talk about the new Resurgent Legends cards, so let's talk about the new Resurgent Legends cards, okay? This is called Self-Care. Now, a lot of them have been revealed already, these Resurgent cards that reuse the art but with whole new voice lines, effects, and text. This one is a Resurgent card of Sun and Moon called Twofold Grace, which summons Amaterasu or Tsukuyomi, and if there's one of them already in play, restore 2 defense to your leader and recover 1 evolution point and 1 play point. Amaterasu is a ward with last words, restore 1 defense to your leader, and at the start of your turn after your next turn you summon Tsukuyomi, and then Tsukuyomi is the same, but it's a rush, last words deal 1, and it summons Amaterasu. It's cheap, it's recyclable, it has additional effects, and the set has a lot of synergy with neutral followers, so I'm pretty sure this card is gonna be good. As you can see here, Swordcraft Commander Charlemagne. Ward can evolve for 0 evolution points, and then on evolve, allied neutral followers deal +1 damage once on each of your turns. When an unevolved neutral follower's attack or defense is increased by an effect, evolve it. So now you're incentivized to just run neutrals in Sword, alongside this other new card, High-Minded Knight. 2/1/1, Rush, Fanfare, give +1/+1 to an allied neutral follower, restore 2 defense to your leader. Strike if there are at least 2 allied neutral cards in play, give your leader the following effect, and the next time your leader takes damage, reduce that damage to 0. So it buffs, it evolves it because of Charlemagne, and it gives you counter magic. It's been a long time since neutral Sword was a thing, and I have mixed feelings about it. I think I might have preferred them to push existing archetypes of Sword that are under-supported, rather than bringing back an archetype that has been long dead, which is effectively new. But these cards do look good so far. Now for Runecraft, the archetype is completely different. We got Ginger, Raging Word. Whenever you play a card with a trait, subtract 1 from the cost of this card. Fanfare puts Scorching Curse into your hand, which is the token spell. Evolve, give your leader the following effect. At the end of your turn, if there are no Scorching Curses, put 1 into your hand. And Scorching Curse, you either select your Ginger or an allied follower you have with a trait. If you selected Ginger, deal 3 damage to all enemy followers and restore 3 defense to your leader. If you selected a follower with a trait, put a copy of it into your hand, change its cost, attack, and defense to 1. You'll see in a second they're pushing a lot of Mysteria, but this technically also works with Chess and Condemned and such, so there's a lot of potential applications for this. And it's also one of those cards that in perpetuity, whenever cloning a card with a trait could be really useful, you'll always be thinking about it. Like something with a powerful Fanfare, for example, that you just want to keep using over and over again. Not to mention, Scorching Curses are also 0 cost spells, so keep that in mind for spell boost. And like I said, Mysteria is coming back with this resurge of Hanna. Put a random Mysteria spell from your deck into your hand. If you've played at least 10 other Mysteria cards, subtract 1 from the cost of all Mysteria spells in your hand and give them the following effect, deal 1 damage to the enemy leader. If Mysteria is being pushed, this seems really strong, just making your missiles do extra damage. All the Mysteria trait stuff reduces the cost of Ginger as well. We still have dual berry in rotation, so there's options there. We also get a resurge of Mysterian Wyrmist, now called Academy Wyrmist. Putting Radiant White Worm or Grim Black Worm, if you've played at least 10 other Mysteria cards, put both into your hand instead. Radiant has Mysteria boost and Ward Fanfare, restore 3, draw card. And Grim Black Worm also has Mysteria boost, Rush Fanfare, deal 3 damage to a random enemy follower, and then the enemy leader. I'm gonna have to see what other traits they push, especially for Mysteria going forward in this set, but there are a lot of Mysteria cards already released that are still in rotation from Academy of Ages, so I think it could work whether it unseats Dirt or not. I mean, it'd have to be pretty crazy to unseat Dirt, but if you're going for nostalgia, Mysteria is the right way to go, so I understand why they've been resurging this. We also get Helio Head Lich, a Shadowcraft legendary, which is essentially just Grave Void Knight Heart's Radiance support. If you use this, you gain a shadow, then your Heart's Radiance kills this off and then reanimates and gets you another guy. Speaking of neutral support, we have this one, Snow Sage of Purity. Fanfare, put a random neutral follower from your deck into your hand. Evolve, give another allied neutral follower +1/+1, and Ward. Seems pretty much clear-cut support for Charlemagne that we saw earlier. I think it's a very interesting choice to push this support that's reminiscent of Wonderland Dreams, an expansion that many in the Shadowverse community perceive as one of the more controversial sets, if I'm putting it nicely. But it doesn't seem like it's for every class this time around, just for Sword and Shadow, which we'll get to in a bit. Another resurge we got is Bab'zz, now titled Royal Commander. And at first I thought resurge was going to be like for iconic cards, to invoke a sense of nostalgia. But the more resurge cards get revealed, I think it just feels more and more like they're giving cards that were really, really bad a second chance, which I have mixed feelings about. On one hand, I think that's interesting to reimagine these blundered cards as something that might be playable. But in the last lap of Shadowverse before Worlds Beyond comes out, the lack of iconic and nostalgic cards being resurged makes a lot of the reveals feel like they land too softly. Anyway, speaking about the effect itself, Ward Fanfare, summon 2 Assault Hornets, put Lethal Sting into your hand. Evolve, put Lethal Sting into your hand. Assault Hornet is a Rush Bane with last words, restore 2 defense to your leader, and Lethal Sting is a 0 cost spell that reduces the enemy's max maximum defense by 1. If it's your 8th turn or later, reduce it by 2. If you have Bab'zz in play, increase your maximum defense by 1. It's clearly support for a controlling Forestcraft archetype. We do lose a lot of control forest tools in the rotation of Celestial Dragonblade. For example, Cosmos Fang, right? So I'm a little skeptical. The fact that this seems positioned to answer Golem Lord makes me a little sad. Like, for example, if my favorite nostalgic old cards were resurged only for them to be some kind of direct answer to a Zoomer card, I'd be a little peeved. But I think we'll be fine. I'm not sure that anybody's favorite card was Bab'zz, so cue the Bab'zz fans in my comments right now. Anyway, Divine Minister, this is a card that I revealed over on the Shadowverse Open Celebration stream. 7 play, 0.66, ward summon another one of this guy, and when it comes into play, restore 2 defense to your leader. When it leaves play, banish a random enemy follower. I think it's a fine control card, but the fact that it's at 7 play points, competing with key cards like Unariel and Jean, especially considering the Ether pull, I'm not sure it's going to see play in this upcoming expansion. Next, we got this Portal Crafts card, Io Destiny Saint, 5 play, 0.11, legendary portal follower. Bane Ward, Fanfare, destroy all other allied followers in play, gain +X, recover X play points. X is equal to the number of allied followers destroyed by this effect. At the end of your turn, if this follower has at least 5 attack, draw 3 cards, destroy 2 random enemy followers, and recover 1 evolution point. It's puppet support, and it honestly seems like fantastic puppet support. You only need to play 2 puppets and then evolve this, because it does gain +2/+2 on evolve. To activate that end of turn effect where you draw 3, clear the board, and recover the evolution point you spent on it, killing puppets off is fine anyway, because you're trying to turbo your Lyolth. Just seems like an incredible card. Rafflesia Princess, Forestcraft legendary, Fanfare, give your leader the following effect. At the end of your turn, give -1/-1 to all enemy followers. You have more evolution points than your opponent, increase your leader's maximum defense by 1, restore 1 defense to your leader, and draw a card. It's not stackable and is removed after activating 2 times. So it's a lot like Corrosion on a body, if you remember that spell from Omen of the 10. And again, it supports this controlling forest archetype, which I'm not sure exactly fits in modern Shadowverse. We'll have to see depending on the support they give it in the coming days. Like even Control Portal Craft, which on paper has such great tools like Eden and Battle Cruiser, sucks. So it'll have to do a lot, and I'm not super optimistic, but you know, I might be proven wrong. We have an upcoming reveal for Electromagical Rhino Resurge, which again, these resurges seem to be chosen at random or for cards that were just complete flops. That'll be out tomorrow, so we don't have the card text just yet. But we do have this Michelle Resurge. Michelle did get a leader in Shadowverse Evolve, so there you go. I guess there are Michelle fans out there. Fanfare, draw a card, change the attack of an enemy follower to 0 until the end of your opponent's turn. Again, more control stuff, but this card does not seem very strong. Grassblade Swordsman, 2-cost officer follower, rush, ignore ward, Fanfare, summon 1, enhance 4, summon 3. Instead, enhance 8, give them all +1/+3 and storm. This card seems straight up solid. Lots of rally count added. 2 bodies on 2 is great. 4 bodies on 4 is okay. The enhance 8 probably not going to be as relevant. For example, if Blood tries to hide a Raging Commander behind Drummer, this can just go straight through it. Vayle Resurgent, cost 2. It's also a Mysterio. Ward, Fanfare, put Nick into your hand. Nick, if you've played at least 10 other Mysterio this match, evolve an allied Vayle. Last words, draw a card. Really, it's just a cheap Mysterio follower that generates another cheap Mysterio follower to get your Mysterio count played up for the cards like Hanna, which we saw before. Also to boost your Ginger, so seems fine, but if Ginger is the only payoff, then I'm not super sold on it just yet. Next up, we have a Resurge of Dragon Shrine. Fanfare, choose, add 1 of the following cards into your hand, trample or blow away. Subtract X from this amulet's countdown. X is equal to the number of Dragoncraft followers with an original cost of 7 or higher in your hand. Countdown 4. Ramp. So if you have a hand with a bunch of big boys like Degenerate Dragon, this can ramp you really fast, effectively an Oracle with upside on turn 2. But if you don't have a hand with those guys, then the ramp is super delayed and might end up being less relevant. The spells though, Trample costs 4 but changes to 1 if you play a 7-cost or higher dragon follower, and it just destroys a card in play. It can even target amulets, which is nice. And Blow Away, same effect with the cost reduce, except it deals 3 damage to all followers, which I feel is way less good. 3 damage hits your own guys and is not that much damage. At that point, you know, if you're playing like Drazael or Venomaw anyway, you're clearing the opponent's board probably, so I don't know. I think it's fine. I don't think it's amazing, but it's more ramp, so I'm not gonna complain. Taking out an amulet might actually be relevant. Here we have Heartbreak Devil, a Bronze Blood follower where during your turn, whenever this card is added from your deck to your hand, if you have 10 or fewer cards in your deck, reveal this and give it +2/+2 and storm. Is deck thinning Blood a whole new archetype gonna be a thing? Nobody can say, because we don't have any other support so far released for it, but again, similar to how I felt about the other other new archetypes. I'm of mixed feelings introducing completely new concepts in what seems to be the waning months of the original game. Anyway, let's finish reading the card. Rush, Fanfare, randomly banish 2 cards in your deck. Banish a card from your hand, put a copy of it into your deck, draw a card. Similar to that one iteration of Mysteria from back in the day. Payoff is super strong though, getting a 5 attack Storm for 2 play points. I can't judge it yet, we're just gonna have to see if they really push this, but if all the payoffs are like this, then it might be relevant. Haven Amulet, next up, Wings of Friendship, countdown 1. At the end of your turn, restore 1 defense to your leader and draw a card. Fanfare, discard a card from your hand, put a copy of that card into your deck. If you discarded a follower of the original count of 5 or more, add 1 to this amulet's countdown. This card seems absolutely incredible for Unariel. You can put the Unariel back into your deck, you heal, you cycle, you add to your amulet's destroyed count. On your Unariel turn, you can play it and immediately proc it for your Unariel damage, take some of the shine away from Heal Haven, and let you try something else. Next up, Symbol of Resurgence, Portalcraft Artifact Amulet. So a main deck artifact. If you have at least 1 play point and added at least 6 artifact followers into your deck, choose one of the following instead. In base form, it's countdown 1, put 2 ancient artifacts into your deck, last words draw a card. A turn 1 play that can help you get your agile active faster. Its first alternate form is countdown 3. During your turn, whenever this amulet's countdown is advanced, put a random artifact follower from your deck to your hand. Whenever you play an artifact card, subtract 1 from this amulet's countdown. This card seems absolutely incredible once you get the engine going, because then you can just start pulling the 1 play point Radiant from your deck and just play them all out and all go face. Especially if you also have agile active, this is going to be super strong. And the other alt form is Dazzling Mechanism, countdown 3. Whenever this is advanced, restore 2 defense to your leader. Whenever you play an artifact card, subtract 1 from this amulet's countdown. So a more defensive option if you're really on the ropes, but I think if you're trying to advance your win condition, you most likely play it for this one, or you just play it on 1 in base form to advance your agile faster. Next up, Angel of War, 2 play point 2/1, bronze neutral follower. Rush, last words, put a Fount of Angels into your hand. Enhance Force, summon another one. So it's another neutral follower that could work in neutral sword. It's also a lot of last words count for the upcoming neutral Shadow, which we'll talk about right now. In a vacuum, though, it seems mid. But like I said, for Shadowcraft, you have this, Ruler of the Dead City. It's another research follower. With Accelerate 1, destroy an allied follower, reanimate 2, neutral follower, give it last words, draw a card. So yep, more neutral support. And whenever an allied follower comes into play, give it last words, draw a card. Evolve, reanimate 2 neutral followers. So yeah, lots of bodies. You can even summon Angel of War right back from this, which accelerates not only your neutral followers, but also the last words. Why would you want to do that? Well, here we go. Okay, so if you guys didn't know, the producer of Shadowverse, KMR, his favorite card is Dark Alice, and she is researched here. Crystallize 2, countdown 3. Whenever an allied neutral card comes into play, subtract 1 from this amulet's countdown. Last words, summon Dark Alice. This card can't be evolved using evolution points. Whenever this follower comes into play, if at least 10 allied last word cards have been destroyed, evolve this follower. Rush, last words, put this card into your hand. And on evolve, it has Storm, and last words, summon the Crystallize and subtract 1 from its countdown. So you can see why you would want to summon lots of neutrals and proc lots of last words for this. The payoff is a 5/5 Storm that summons another 5/5 Storm potentially from that Crystallize. It also comes with an alt art version, so yeah, they're really pushing it. And even a trailer, which we can watch now. Oh, it's loud. Here's what it looks like when it comes into play. Comes in, the effect is in, so it evolves, and it goes face. And get rid of it. The amulet come out. Play more guys. That's the Angel of War right there. And it go face. So there you see it in action right there. I mean, it seems fun enough, but again, will there be enough neutrals and last words for this? Can't really say until all the cards are revealed. And finally, one that was revealed just now, literally while I was making this video. Troya, Dark Knight Scout, another research follower for sword. It's a gold officer with fanfare if you have at least 2 other sword cards in your hand. Put a random commander card from your deck into your hand. If you have 2 neutral cards in your hand, evolve this follower. So it seems like there's going to be some sort of ideal ratio between sword and neutral cards you have to run in your deck to get the maximum mileage out of this, or you just play it for one effect or the other, I suppose. Giving a free evolve to the neutral spam deck, alongside the fact that Charlemagne evolves neutral followers, it's making me think that you mix this with the evolve archetype. Alice is neutral after all, and so is Grimnir, and then maybe finish with the top end of Radiel. Just something to think about. Well, those are the cards that have been revealed so far. Let me know what you think in the comments down below about them. Like I said, I have mixed feelings. I wish, 1, they would research some more iconic cards, and 2, again, I'm skeptical about pushing completely new archetypes when the game seems to be in its twilight years. But this time is a period of a lot of unknowns, so we're just gonna have to wait and see. Alright, I'll see you guys next time. I'm gonna go to bed. Like I said, I'm sick. Bye.